Welcome back to Bespoke Addict. I'm just going to brush up the nap a little bit on these correspondents. I've made a couple of videos already. They're 1960s and they were completely original. I don't believe they'd ever been cleaned, shampooed, polished, nothing at all. And the buckskin was really filthy, and they're dry here. So I'm just brushing up the nap very slightly. I've actually done this little bit, and just bring the skins close to the camera. It's an autofocus, so we'll give it a chance. And where they've been shampooed, as is normal, they're, excuse my dirty fingernails, like it makes my fingernails very dirty doing this kind of thing, but yeah, where they've been shampooed, the buckskin goes very flat and hard. But if you scratch it or rub it, it just brings the nap back up. I don't know if you can, is the camera picking that up or not? And I'm going to be using, in fact, yeah, no, let's do this one. I bought a very, very hard toothbrush. You wouldn't really want to use that on your teeth. It'd rip your gums to shreds. But it's pretty good for brushing up the nap. The suede and buckskin is not supposed to be flat. It's supposed to have like a velvety, just the fibres raised. And when you run your finger or press it, you get sort of flat spots. But the problem with very pale colours like this, if you use a brass suede or buckskin brush, the suede bristles are oxidized. They might look gold, but they've got a little bit of oxidation on them. When you rub it, it transfers the dirt, and you end up with all these brown and black stains on the skin, and you have to re-shampoo it and scrub it again. This is not really sharp enough, but with enough sort of scrubbing, you can. It will take 10 times longer with a toothbrush, but you can revive the nap. There we go. And you can also use a Scotch-Brite. I tried this yesterday and it had a bit of dust on it, and I paid the price, and so I had to re-shampoo the skins. But I washed it, dried it, and yeah, the Scotch-Brite works very well if it's clean. It's just a pan scrubber. You get those little pads, they're like sponge with a little bit of green scrubber on the other side. They're perfectly fine. Yeah, so either or, but on pale suede or buckskin, you can't use a brass brush. It definitely leaves behind a real mess. And just a case of being careful, patient. This will take probably 20 minutes to do both shoes, just working around, trying to avoid, it won't do any real damage. I'm just trying to avoid the calf skin. It is fragile, delicate skin. I've also got just a cheap brush. I've washed it with shampoo yesterday and blow dried it with a hairdryer, so it's completely clean. Just to sort of brush up the fibres. Let's see. Does the camera pick up a flat spot? Maybe, I'm not sure. And then, anyway, that's it really. Combination of a toothbrush, Scotch-Brite pad, and just any clean sort of polishing brush will be fine. It's just a case of being very patient. So pleased with how they've come out. I will realistically, these are going to get shampooed again. They've been stretched, and when I've been spraying the foam on, if you've seen the previous films, you'd have seen this, but I've been spraying the foam shampoo on to clean the suede, but I've been deliberately getting it on the tan areas on the calf skin to soften it with the alcohol to allow them to stretch. I've actually done it 3 times. So they're as clean as they're going to be, but I don't actually think they're stretched enough. What I'm going to do, I'm going to relieve the stretchers and take them out, and I'm going to test. I'm going to try the shoe on, and undo the laces, take the not trees. According to trees, these are 2-way stretchers. I've no idea of knowing if they're, without testing it, see if they are actually going to fit my feet now. But there's no evidence of stretching. The shoe is not distorted anywhere. It's not torn. It's not ruptured. I suspect they're not going to be quite. They'll go on my feet because they went on my feet before, but they were jolly tight and uncomfortable. I think I've only stretched them maybe 2.5 millimeters, maybe 3. I think we need a bit more than that. 6, perhaps 6 or 7 millimeters. It's about a whole size I'm trying to achieve. So there we go. Take the lace out. Loosen the lace. There we go. Yeah, there's absolutely no evidence of abuse. But I still don't think they're big enough yet. I don't think so. I'll try them on. I can't really do it successfully on camera, but we'll see. But they're going to come up beautifully. And when they're finally stretched, I'll then be able to moisturize and recolour, because we've lost some colour. But, coloured creams, do I have one down here? Possibly not. Got all sorts surrounding me. No, I don't have one to hand. Doesn't matter. But a coloured cream will easily put the colour back in where it's been faded and stripped, because I've used the alcohol to strip the skins to make sure the colour or any old polish doesn't bleed onto the buckskin. So they do look a bit patchy and rough, but that will revive beautifully, just like new, when I actually come to recolouring and nourishing these areas. So, but yeah, couldn't be happier. But I still don't think they're there yet. I think they might need another 2 or 3 stretches to actually get them comfortable on my feet. But, once I come to applying the cream, it will take maybe 2 weeks of applying, letting it sink in and dry, buff it, reapply until the skins are nourished. And clearly, I've got to be very, very careful. I'll almost definitely apply the cream with a fine artist brush around the edges, possibly use a rag. I wouldn't just sort of dip it in and splodge it on. It would go everywhere. The biggest risk is that it bleeds down these holes. So I'd dip it onto the cloth and then wipe the cloth semi-dry on the edge of the glass jar, and then apply it very sparingly, so there isn't really enough on the cloth to go down the holes or fold over the edges and contaminate the buckskin. But I'll do that on camera, but it'll probably be at least a week before I get to that stage. I'm going to try this on, see if it does fit. It will go on my foot, as I say to you, but I don't think it's going to be comfortable. I think they're still too low on the toe and too sort of flat and narrow just here. I think the length will be okay, but I think it's more about this area I'll still need to stretch, but we'll see.